以前的猎人在山上，如果遇到巨大的影子，或是看见绿色的光团，那就是要你别再往前了。但若看见红色的光团，那是祖先的灵魂。如果听到一些奇怪的声音，或发现竹林里的路越来越窄，有可能是被拦截。经验不足的猎人很有可能受到伤害或惊吓，甚至之后会长期生病不起。
Hi and welcome to In Taiwan We Speak, your audio guide to Taiwan's mind-blowing linguistic diversity. I am Alexander Shin, and today in Taiwan We Speak, Theater and Performance Art. We're joined today by our guest Lin Chihyu, cultural worker and researcher and executive producer of the TAI Body Theatre. And in this one-episode conversation, we want to talk about the significance of theater and performance arts for Taiwan's indigenous cultural activism and promotion of indigenous cultures in general, but also languages. Hi, Chihyu. Thank you for joining me here.
Hi, Oleg. Good to be here.
Now, everyone, you cannot see this, but Chihyu's come to our station on a wheelchair.
Yes.
Which has been a challenge. Thank you so much for that.
Now I can kind of experience the different places with my wheelchair. Go to tax a different building.
And what do you feel like? Is Taipei accessible?
No, of course not.
That's Chihyu's conclusion. Taipei is not accessible.
Only the MRT station.
All right.
Very accessible.
I really liked your reading in the beginning of this episode. Please tell us, what was that? Was it in Mandarin?
Yeah, I read it in Mandarin because I only can read it in Mandarin. So the text I read is, let's say, it's a kind of fantasy story from Pinuyumayan, like one of the tribe in Taitung. And then because one of our dancer in TAI Body Theatre, he collected many stories like this, let's say fantasy story, like about the spirit, about ghosts for a while. And then we will read this story also on the stage in our new production. So I think it's really good to read it. Since I cannot read it in Pinuyumayan, so my director said, you just read it in Mandarin because this is your first language.
So you are not an indigenous Taiwanese, right?
No, I'm not.
But the production that you manage has a lot of indigenous artists, right?
Yeah, so actually all of my colleagues, they are from a different tribe. Like some of them from Truku, some of them from Taiwan, some of them from Pinuyumayan. But actually, I also want to acclaim, I think we are working, because we are now working in art field. So mostly I don't acclaim we are the indigenous contemporary dance company. Because for me, it's really weird. I will not say I'm a Han producer, right? So I don't like to label them first. So I would just say, I'm from the contemporary dance company. And when people try to ask me, maybe because our production or maybe because of the name of the artist, so of course I will come out, yes, they are from different tribe, but this is not, mostly I will not emphasize it in the beginning.
Speaking about the content of the performances, is it mostly inspired by indigenous culture and traditions?
I will say, since the artistic director and also the dancer, they are as indigenous people in Taiwan. So of course they will have different kind of experience and different kind of life story. So as artists, of course, mostly we will make creation from our the topic we are care about or the interest we want to express. So maybe some of the production, of course, will inspired by the different culture, tribal culture. So since one of our member, our dancer, his name is Anxiang. Anxiang is from Binaski village of Pinuyumayan. And then he collecting different of this fantasy story from his family, also from some the people in his tribe. So we try to bring out with this kind of concept, like maybe in the world there's also like different spirit living with us as well.
So this performance is going to be called Flying Betel Nut.
Yes. So actually, Betel Nut is a very important element for Pinuyumayan. And Pinuyumayan, when they do some ceremony, Betel Nut playing a very important role of the different part of it. So that's why like we have this title like Flying Betel Nut. And also Pinuyumayan people, they have Dalamau culture. Dalamau is kind of a healer, and then he will also doing the ceremony in different kind of occasion, especially using this Betel Nut as a very important, let's say, tool or the key to do the opening of it as well. So that's also the reason we use the Betel Nut in our title.
So you represent the troupe of artists that call themselves TAI Body Theatre, right?
Yes.
I assume it is called body because of the emphasis on physical performances, physical movements during the performance. But what does TAI mean here?
So actually, TAI is a Truku term because our artistic director, the founder, he's from Truku.
Truku is one of the indigenous communities, right?
Yes, and TAI means to see and to look in Truku language. And why Watan, the director, want to use this term? Because from the old generation, the elder, they will say when you encounter something, when you try to learn something, you just see first. You just take a look first. Don't even ask, and then the old generation will also teach you, like tell you what to do. They want you to observe, to aware everything first, and then you practice. You just do it. Even you make mistake, you do the field work, it's okay. Actually, if you make mistake, it's even better because you will also learn from your experience. So that's the reason we choose TAI as the name of our group.
Oh, that's very beautiful.
Yes, and I think the Truku language is really, for me, it's really interesting. Like, because mostly the one term, they will have different meaning. So really kind of build me a new window to see, Truku people from language, you can kind of glimpse like how they see this word.
So the director, Watan Tusi, he is from Truku, but
Yes.
also there are artists from, let's say, Pinuyumayan and other communities, other tribes. So when a person goes to see the performance, what do they see?
I think since we are contemporary dance company, so of course we will always have different kind of arrangement. Even maybe when we got inspiration from the traditional singing and dancing, but maybe we will also try to transform it as well. So I think just take easy, like just go into a theater and then take time to be with us. And true, like some audience will say that it's difficult to, sometimes we don't understand. We don't understand what are you talking about. But I think it's because mostly we are really like get use of the certain body language. For example, we know about what is ballet, what is contemporary dance, what is modern dance. So when we see this performance, we are easy to capture this body language. Actually, is kind of a message of text for us. So maybe TAI Body Theatre for audience will be a little bit difficult to catch this. The message we already know. But I think there's one thing maybe people can try to look at is we have our own, let's say, body method called foot script. Different kind of stepping and how we use the body together.
How do you spell it? Foot script.
Foot and
Foot
script.
as in foot and
Foot
script.
script.
I see.
Foot script, you can also understand maybe it's kind of notation. So when Watan has the idea to have this foot script, he get the idea from the stepping sounds because stepping is quite important for the dancing, or like let's say the body language in indigenous people. So he tried to collect this full script, the different stepping sounds and tempo. So some audience like, now we try to get the message from the full screen. Oh, I kind of understand.
Now, let's talk about perhaps the most important thing on this podcast, the language. What is the role of language in your performances?
I think now, in these few years, language plays very important in our, let's say, creation process. As a Taiwanese people, we encounter like language policy before, so I think all of us are kind of like suffer during our parents' generation because we are forbidden to speak our mother tongue, and especially for indigenous people, they have like different kind of like multiple bullying, and then they are forced to speak Japanese before, and then now they need to speak Mandarin, and then they already forbidden to speak their language, and now the government also, if you want to acclaim like you are indigenous people, it seems you need to learn it again, but the landscape already created. How can you collect back and then reconnect with this language? So this year we have a different kind of project talking about the language, and also for Flying Betel Nut, I think we also try to, when you go into a theater, you can have some sound experience, because the dancer, they will read some story in Pinuyumayan, and when they will also do some traditional singing in Pinuyumayan.
And you've worked with many artists, not only here in Taiwan, but also in other countries of Southeast Asia, specifically in Cambodia, right?
Yes.
Do you feel like there are similarities between Taiwan and Cambodia in the way that traditional knowledge is represented in contemporary art forms?
I think it's very different. Cambodia, because now actually the traditional performing arts is very important, because they still doing like ceremony, and even in the royal events, they will also have this different like dance drama or music, and in the different kind of occasion, you can still see this kind of traditional performing arts. But in Taiwan, when we talk about tradition, I think especially for dance, we will have different kind of thinking. As a non-indigenous person, in this moment, I don't think we have traditional dance in my community. We have some body movement, some playing, the dragon, the lion dance, but it's not really touchable for everyone. Not everyone can learn it. So I would not say we have traditional dance. And for indigenous people, because most of them, I think, the singing and dancing is very important in their life. So I think they have a different kind of the meaning for them. And sometimes I also not really agree about tradition, this term, because it seems like traditional, it will also has a contrast with the contemporary. It seems when we choose contemporary, we cannot be traditional. But when we talk back to the case in Cambodia, actually these dancers, they still do both, and they don't see themselves like making a decision or something like only
so it's not a conflict.
Yeah, it's not a conflict. It seems traditional means like already in the past, and then maybe going to die, need to be preserved. But if we still practice it, why we call it as traditional? I think I'm still kind of like struggling in this kind of term. Yes.
I totally understand what you mean. So speaking about Flying Betel Nut, where and when can people go and see it?
So Flying Betel Nut is going to perform on 8 December to 10 December on National Traditional Theatre Center, Taiwan 戏曲中心 Multi Hall 多功能厅 nearby Zhishan Station. And then we hope people can come to feel the vibe of Pinuyumayan when you hear the speaking, the singing, and then maybe you can have a different, we can use Betel Nut or a different kind of element as the key to open a new world with us.
This is the end of our episode. Thank you so much, Ji, for this super interesting conversation.
Thank you, Oleg.
Well, yeah, dear listeners, if you happen to be in Taiwan or travel to Taiwan between December 8th and 10th, please do check out this performance, and I'm sure you will love it. This was In Taiwan We Speak, your audio guide to Taiwan's mind-blowing linguistic diversity. I am Oleg, and see you next week.